It wasn't about 2 to 3 years ago when I made a certain decision that drastically changed everything for me. From my faith and where I stood with God, everything just changed. I wasn't anticipating the changes that were going to come, the challenges that were going to come, the difficulties that were going to come. But I'm still glad I made that decision. Okay, so this is going to be a long diary session. You might want to take a chair and sit and just be here and just be present if you are interested. So, how did it start, right? How did I know of God? How did I come across all of this faith based understanding? When did I get that desire to grow the relationship with God? So, being born into a family that already prays, right? So, when my mom went to church, I would go with her. When my sister went to church, I would go with her as well. So, as a child, I incorporated God in my life as much as I could. So, in primary school, maybe I was about 6, 7, 8. When I go to a teacher, I would always say, God, please let it be you that speaks through me. Let it be not my be the choice of my words, but your words, right? And when I go, everything would go well if I say that, right? And that made me lean closer and grow closer to God because I trusted Him more, and I understood that He was present in my life. So that is how I got to know of God and grow and decide to grow the relationship with Him, of course. So why did I choose God of Abraham? Because there's many other religions or beliefs that are out there that I could have went for. But when I did this little incorporations of God, it showed me that He truly does exist and He truly is with me. So, for instance, there was this one time when there was a family issue going on, and I prayed. I said, God, please let this change. If this changes, then I shall keep myself until a certain age. Right. So that happened, right? Within a month, I believe, God turned the situation at home around. And at the time, it didn't click to me that I've already asked God to change this situation, and I will keep myself till a certain age. But when it clicked, I had no doubt in my mind that I was going to do what I promised that I would do for God. So that was the relationship that God and I had, even from a young age. So He changed the situation around at home, and I kept myself till the age that I promised to God. And that should show you that God is God of promises as well. So if you say, God, I'm going to do this for you, please do this for me, God is able to do that as well, because it means you are giving 100 and He's giving 100 as well. But don't get me wrong. At that time, my relationship wasn't as deep and I wasn't as exposed to the spiritual realm as I am now. Okay. So that is why I chose God, because I saw His hand in my life. I didn't choose to worship God or go to church or believe in God because everybody else around me believed in God, but because I saw His hand in my life. And that made me want to even grow more closer to God to see if what else really and how truly close can I get to God. Okay, fine. So now you're probably like, okay, what's the decision? What's the decision that changed everything? Okay, fine. So it wasn't about 2 to 3 years ago when I was like, you know what, God, I really want to see what you can do with my life. Those are literally the exact words that I used when I made that decision. And I said to God, I'm going to do exactly what you say I should do in your commandments. Right. So if you don't know the commandments, I suggest you do. So I said, I'm going to do exactly what you say you want me to do in your commandments, right? And how you want me to walk in the footsteps of your Son, Jesus Christ. I really want to see how you can change my life. I wasn't anticipating the changes that were going to come. I wasn't anticipating the challenges that were going to come, but I saw things changing right before my eyes, even myself included, right? I became this different person that things that used to excite me, they didn't excite me anymore. Things that used to be cool for me, they were not cool anymore because now God was making me a new person, right? He was changing me and making me be the person that will be able to fulfill his purpose, right? Okay, fine. So around that time, right, when I made the decision, okay, nothing much. But couple of weeks in, couple of months in, things start to change. Number one, how I feel about my work, what I was doing for work, it just felt like I didn't belong there anymore. So every day waking up, going to work, it felt like I was being dragged to that place because I just felt like I was not supposed to be there anymore. Secondly, I had plans to go to school. They failed miserably, right? So everything I tried to do to make sure that it happens, it didn't happen. So I was supposed to be funded for school. That failed. It didn't happen anymore. I wasn't allowed to go anymore. I was depressed because I've been planning this for more than 2 years to get through to this program, right? So now I'm depressed. Everything I do fails. And I'm like, what is happening? I'm like, God, what is happening? I was literally a walking zombie because I was so numb to everything around me because it somehow showed me that I'm not in control, right? Because remember, I already made a decision and I already said what I said, that I want God to be in control. I want Him to show me what He can do. Oh, and He did show me what He can do. He did show me what He can do. And then I was like, okay, fine. Clearly, this is not working. Clearly, I'm not going to school. I don't want to be here. I don't feel like I want to be here. I have no problem with my colleagues because beautiful work environment, beautiful work culture, but my soul just didn't want to be there anymore. At the same time, I'm applying, jobs are rejecting me. God, what is going on? So, in that chaos, right? In that chaos, that was the first time when I've learned to let go of control, right? That was the first time where I've learned to completely surrender to God and say, God, you are in control. So if anything fails, I say to myself, it's you, God, and I accept your will. If anything fails or stops for some reason, or I don't make it to whatever plans that I planned, I just say, God, it's your will. I accept it. Right. That is how I learned to surrender to God. Right. So I think that was the first phase in my life that God had to work with. Right. To understand that if I give you something, be grateful. But if I take it away, be grateful still. But because that is still my will. Okay, fine. So after that decision, first of all, my surrendering game just became something else. And it brought so much peace in my life, right? Because I had an understanding that everything that God does for me, He is doing it for me because He says to me, I have plans for you. And I gave Him that right to be in my life and do what He wants to do with my life. Right. So now you're probably like, okay, then did things come together? What happened? What happened? Okay, fine. So things did eventually come together, right? After all that had happened, things came together. I moved to a completely different city, right? And I did end up leaving the job that I was in. And right now, where I am, and yes, I did continue with my program that I wanted to do. And right now, where I am, I'm at peace, right? I'm at peace with myself, right? The way I love myself, the way I can feel the presence of God, and his hand in my life, the relationship that I was able to grow with Jesus Christ, because it was difficult for me as a young adult to understand, why should I speak through Jesus Christ? Why should I go to Jesus Christ when I can just speak directly to God? So I completely resented that relationship. I didn't want it. But growing closer to God and making the decision that I made me realize the importance of Jesus Christ in my life and in my faith and belief, because Jesus is the closest that we can get to God, right? God doesn't have a crucifix. We can't buy a crucifix and put it around our necks or next to our bed or anywhere in our house. We can't put a picture of God in our house. We don't have that. What we have closest to God is Jesus. And I'm very grateful for the existence of Jesus Christ and getting to know him in my life, because my faith has extensively grown, and I know his power, right? Because when I pray and call upon Messiah, I can feel the presence of Jesus Christ, right? Because it's very important to know and understand and feel the presence, because you cannot say Jesus Christ is going to protect me, but at the same time you don't even know his power or what he's capable of doing, or say God is going to protect me, but you don't believe in his power. I mean, how is that supposed to work, right? So going through this journey, there's times when I would dream of books that I'm supposed to read, right? Or come across books that I'm supposed to read, because let me tell you something. God is very instructional. Yes, I'm going to repeat that. God is very instructional. So once you start having that relationship with God, he's going to guide you to where he wants you to be and what he wants you to know. So these are some of the books that have really helped me with my faith, right? They have motivated me. They have made me understand why believing in God and his power is very important. These people, many of them that are God's generals, none of them were in the Bible, but the healing that they've done with their faith, it compares to what people in the Bible have done. Right. So if there's anything common about all of them, is the faith that they had. It was unshaken. And they understood the power of God. They understood the power behind the name of God and the name of Jesus Christ. That is why you do not use the Lord's name in vain, because the power behind it is very, very, very strong. So yes, I do not regret my decision. And yes, there are challenges, because the more you change and the closer you get to God, the more you become a different person, because now you choose your words, right? There's words that you cannot use that can potentially harm others, and you love your people, right? Love people around you. And God says to us, I want you to love even people that are unlovable, because that is how we serve God, right? And you need to understand that, of course, you're going to lose people along the way. Of course, you're going to lose relationships along the way. But you need to have an understanding that what God can give, God can also take. So the biggest lesson of making the decision that God, I'm giving it all to you, was for me to learn how to surrender myself to God and how to surrender my life to God and understand that he is in control. So I don't want to share too much too soon, because I have a lot to share with you guys. So if you're still here and still watching, I will definitely try and incorporate the diary sessions as well, because obviously I'm talking about a personal experience. So please do join me for my next diary session. So if you're still here, please like and comment. Tell me how's your journey. Tell me what has changed. Tell me what challenges you came across. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. I will see you on the next session. Thank you.